I think it's time to begin, and it's my job to begin things. Okay, can I have your attention, please? Welcome to the HUUB. For those of you folks, your first time here, the HUUB is a community campus here on Cleveland Street. These buildings are the 135-year-old buildings of Orange's Unitarian Universalist congregation. For the last 10 years, the HUUB, HUUB, has been operating this space as a community campus. We're home to a host of community organizations, University of Orange, which is a people-free school, LAMBI, which is an immigration services organization, and the Laundry Workers Center is a grassroots nonprofit doing organizing with low-wage immigrant workers in New Jersey and New York. Since our founding 10 years ago in 2016, the HUUB has made a habit of hosting forums for local elections. It's, I think, the fifth value of Unitarian Universalism that lifts up the practices of democracy as a pillar of Unitarian faith and pillar of American society. We take that quite seriously here, and that's translated from the history of the congregation into the values and practices of the HUUB. So we've hosted all sorts of debates for the last 10 years, whether it's council debates, mayoral debates, Board of Education. So we're very, very grateful to get to host this again tonight. Obviously, our democracy is in a bit of trouble. We see that all the way from the local all the way up to the national. So, and as a non-profit, we have to stay neutral by law. We can't endorse candidates. Even if we didn't have to, I don't know if we would. Even though we're neutral, I did want to tonight particularly thank the candidates that have elected to participate in this forum tonight. We really firmly believe, and we told every candidate, we invited every candidate, and we think it's the responsibility of our elected officials and folks who want to be our elected officials to present themselves in a forum where that is neutral and where people can draw side-by-side comparisons and hear the perspectives that people are offering and the vision that people are putting forward. So we appreciate the candidates that recognize that. Before we begin, I wanted to thank a couple of folks in addition to the candidates. First is, we do this every couple of years. It's a lot of work. It's not a whole lot of resources that we have to do this particular work. So I want to thank our team member, Lynn Ogbourne, who just walked in. We've been working on this in a couple of different capacities over the last year and a half, and for the last 5 weeks has been our lead organizer on this forum. Lavonne's amazing, but she can't do everything herself. So I also want to thank out some other members of our team, Hassan and Priscilla from the HUUB. Hassan is over here. And from the University of Orange, Molly and Holly, who help us stay on the right track. And then lastly, we have really an astonishing team of moderators tonight. Some of you might recognize Quinai Jenkins. He's a member of the Baptist Church and a long-time board member of the HUUB. This will be a walk in the park for having moderated much fiercer debates. Some of you might remember the last mayoral forum we did. And then Dave Lucas, who's a member at Mount Olive across the street, who just finished an medical membership tonight. And then lastly, we have a special announcement before we turn over. So next Monday, well, as you all know, I hope you all know, democracy really isn't just about elections. It's, in a way, we think of everything we do here as lifting up and practicing democracy and civic discourse. But Rich, who many of you know, has pulled together a number of organizations for an event here next Monday night about ranked choice voting in New Jersey. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Rich to talk for just a couple of minutes before we get into our event tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. I'll keep it short because it's about these formidable candidates tonight, and we want to hear what they have to say. But as a people, we recognize that our democracy is in peril, and we often wonder what we can do. We often think about, we need to change the electoral college. Do we need to add more judges on the Supreme Court? Do we need to get rid of whatever solution people can think of? But you won't be able to get to those solutions until you get the right people in office. And how do you do that? And one of these reforms that pack a really powerful punch is ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting will allow for more candidates to run, instead of the two parties kind of having a monopoly and pre-filtering candidates that we get to choose for, which leaves a lot of people unhappy with the choices and they stay at home. That's a real big problem in America. We get about 60-something% for presidential elections. Midterms is about half of that. Local elections is, we're lucky if we get 15%. So ranked choice voting is one of these mechanisms that can change that. Next week, we're having a fun event to educate people about ranked choice voting. It's nonpartisan. We are a nonpartisan organization, and we're partnering, I'm with Voter Choice NJ. We're partnering with the NAACP of Maplewood and the Oranges, and with the HUUB to put together a great event next week, and we'll be ranking cookies. We won't be ranking politicians. So it'll be fun. It'll be great cookies. Karen arranged her private chef to do all the baking. So it's going to be wonderful. So please show up next week and bring your friends and spread the word. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. As Doug has already introduced, my name is Dave Lucas. I will be one of the moderators here tonight. I'm a resident here at Orange, and I'm also a member of Mount Orange Church of God across the street. As Doug has also said, I was a AmeriCorps member here for the past 6 months.
Thank you. Yes, Dave, Doug took all of the juicy introductions away, so I'm also just going to echo what he said. My name is Quinaya Jenkins. I am a member of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Orange, New Jersey, and I've currently been serving on the board here at the HUUB for 6 years. Before we get started, I again want to echo and say thank you to our candidates for agreeing to be here tonight. I also want to say thank you to all of you community members for showing up, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. Just a few things before we get started to make sure that we keep this space shared community and make sure that everyone is able to enjoy while we are here. We do ask that you silence your cellular devices so that everybody has an opportunity to hear each other. We also, for the forum for tonight for the candidates, we have 6 questions on a variety of themes. We will switch up the order so that everyone has a chance to go first, and so that everyone doesn't always have to go last the entire time. In case you're unaware, there are 2 bathrooms right out of here. We go through these doors. There's one to the left and then another one immediately to the right in the second room. All right. So again, just a note about decorum. I'm sure we all can agree to be respectful to the candidates, respectful to each other, respectful of the space that we're in. If you're able to do that, could you please give me an I commit? I commit. Thank you so much. So we're going to get started. We acknowledge that our candidates are running for different wards, but should there be a need for a rebuttal, there will be 30 seconds allowed at the discretion of the moderators, if that is okay. All right, so our first question for tonight, and it will go in this order of response. Lynn will have a chance to respond first, Antoinette will be second, and James will go last. If you need me at any time for Dave and us to repeat a question, just let us know. We'll give you each 3 minutes to respond, and Dave here will keep time. All right, so if he runs over, blame him, not me, okay? Just kidding. All right, so to begin, we'd like to ask each candidate to introduce yourselves briefly and answer this question. What is something you genuinely love about Orange that you think more people should know about? And again, that's going to go to Lynn, then Antoinette, and then James. You may begin.
Good evening, folks. I want to thank the HUUB for putting this together, the moderators, Laverne, and also the residents who came out this evening. I appreciate that. My name is Lynn Ogbourne, and I am proud to be a candidate of the North Fort City Council. I'm a longtime resident here in Orange, and this is where I made my home. I've raised my family here, and we've stayed committed to the city because we believe what Orange is and what Orange can be. Thank you. Professionally, I am a certified project manager. I've been doing project management now for over 15 years. I manage large, complex projects. My work has qualified me to oversee budget, states, and vendors, and making sure that they are accountable without federal dollars. I make sure that commitments turns into results. I will bring that same level of discipline, structure, follow through for the North Ward. I currently now sit on the zoning board in Orange. This experience has shown me firsthand how important it is to have balanced growth and the need for people who already live here to remain here. Here's my why. Why am I running? I'm running because I believe in leadership that is focused, transparent, and accountable to the residents. Leadership that understands how to manage growth while keeping long-term residents here and not pushed out. Leadership that listens and respects the residents, but also know how to move ideas forward. For the North Ward, that means making sure development includes affordable housing to real community benefits, protecting long-term residents and not being priced out of their homes, bringing real transparency on how decisions are made and how tax dollars should be spent. Investing in our community, including creating spaces and opportunities for our youth, and ensuring that the city serves a fair, constant for the working people and everyone that resides here. I am not coming with empty promises. I'm coming with plans, with experience, and a deep commitment to our community. Thank you.
Ready?
Yes.
You may begin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chairwoman Antoinette Hall. I'm the chair of the Orange Democratic Committee, and I want to thank everyone for putting this event together, the HUUB.
Pause the time.
Sorry.
Thank you.
It's for the recording as well.
For making this possible for the public to come and hear the views of everyone who is running. It is a very great event, and I thank you for giving me the time to be here. My why, I've been doing grassroots organizing since I was 12 years old. I was running my own community youth club in a space just like this. It was a church, and I decided that I wanted to help my community. East Ward has always been my home. This is where my family is from. I'm a service family. We know how to serve. We know how to do things right in our community. And we live to serve whatever capacity that might be. My why, I'm running in the East Ward because I believe that the East Ward have been left unattended for far too long. This is not something I just came up one day and I wanted to do. This is something that I've been doing. I've been doing it since Ms. Arthur was on the board. She was the board president, and she used to send things down to Park Avenue School to help me with what I've been doing. So this is not something that I just started. She knows, and everyone that knows me knows. I have a neighbor that sits in the front, and her child goes to Park Avenue. I used to do my toy giveaway, my Thanksgiving turkey giveaway. You see everyone going on up and down Park Avenue with their red bags, with their turkeys. Some of that came from Ms. Pat Arthur. So I didn't get up one day and decide I wanted to help. If there's a fire, I'm there to the rescue, helping Red Cross, I'm calling businesses, can you help me? I'm finding an apartment for people. So it is in my nature to help, and I started something and I will not stop. 400 Oakwood was freezing in the heart of winter, and their cries went unheard until I showed up. And I did what the human thing was to do, and that was to help them. Even if it got on the news, and even if people had to be pulled out, I did what I was supposed to do. Here in the East Ward, I believe in transparent governing. I believe in fair budget practices, and it has not been practiced in Orange for a very long time. We put up this building in the city of Orange, but the residents here has not have the choice to live in them. We need to practice. If we put up buildings, then the residents should have a choice to live in them, and the residents should have a choice to work in them.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. What is something you genuinely love about Orange that you think more people should know about, and you can briefly introduce yourself? You may begin.
My name is James Ward, and I'm running for South Ward City Council seat. I believe that the South Ward deserves leadership that works as hard as the people who live here. I've knocked on many doors across our neighborhoods, and I keep hearing the same concerns. Parking is getting worse, taxes keep rising, properties are not being well maintained, and decisions are being made without enough transparency. Too many residents feel like the City Hall is not listening. The South Ward is full of proud homeowners and hardworking families and small business owners who just want stability, and fairness, and an opportunity. We're not asking for miracles, we're asking for responsible government. Something that I love about our community. I love the history of our community. This is a shared history between multiple generations, and we are stewards of that history. It is important for us to teach about what Orange is and what Orange was, so that we can continue to build pride in not only the people that are here, but the people that will come here. The pride and the legacy of Orange is a place that we can rebuild and make into a new, rich, thriving community. We can do this through community building. During the pandemic, my wife and I decided to found an organization, Seven Oaks Society. Now, I've come to know that that word is charged, okay? But Seven Oaks is the community that I live in. And the first thing I tried to do was connect with the people that are there. And what I found was there are many people who were putting up the fight and have gotten tired. There are many people who have felt rejected because they've tried to talk and their complaints were unanswered and unnoticed. But on the top of that, there's a generational change that's happening, not only in the South Ward, but in this entire country. There are baby boomers that are aging. There is the greatest generation that is leaving us. And then there's the millennials like myself and Gen Xers that are also here, that are building their families, and we're wedged in between those generations. It's important for us to interconnect. And that's what Seven Oaks Society has been all about. It's making people know who their neighbors are so we can build the pathways to intertwine our community together.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for this next question, the order will now be, we'll start with James this time, then we'll go to Lynn, and then lastly we'll end with Antoinette. So the question is, a consistent concern among residents is the cost of living crisis we are experiencing nationwide. In Orange, this has been exacerbated by consistently increasing property taxes, water rates, utilities, and rents. What steps, both legislative and non-legislative, would you take to prevent displacement of residents and help people stay in their homes and communities? James, you may begin.
This is something that I've been talking a lot about when I realized what's going on in this town. We have the highest effective tax rate in Essex County, and one of the highest tax rates in the entire state of New Jersey, at 3.89%. Now, the effective tax rate might not make a whole lot of sense, but let's try to make that a little bit more real. Orange Assessors Homes is very close to 100% market value. That is not the way it's done just about everywhere else. Usually it's a much lower percentage than 100. And because of that, residents feel this tax burden more directly. It's important that we highlight this because the taxes are a function of the budget. We have to control the budget to control the taxes. We can control this by many different ways, but we need to increase our revenue, our rateables. We need to make a thriving commercial corridor so that we can get those rateables and include cannabis into that discussion. Also, we need to look at the facts, okay? Our town is 2.2 square miles, 32,000 residents. We've seen this as a movie about it, okay? Our municipal budget, most people are amazed to know that we're over $100 million spent in this town every year. $100 million is just what we're spending on the municipality. We spend another $160 million on the schools. Imagine if we were like Montclair or South Orange, where we had to pay a much larger percentage of that school. No one in this room and no one in the surrounding towns would want to live here or could afford to do so. We need to control the spending. We need to do this through a number of means that I have outlined. But while I have this platform, I've said this many, many times before, the lie about pilot programs adding to our taxable rates is that. It's a lie. If you've ever been in City Hall, you've seen that large billboard where they show how much the pilots are bringing in. We have 23 pilots bringing in $2.6 million, which sounds like a lot, but it isn't, because we're not feeling that at all. If you go to the Department of Community Affairs website, on the New Jersey government website, you'll see a spreadsheet that shows all the pilot programs for the entire state. And what we're missing is the last column, which is what we would be making if we didn't have these pilot programs and what they would be paying full rate. And that would be $9.6 million. We're missing a whole $7 million because of these pilot programs, and that's why it's become so unaffordable in this town.
All right. That's good.
I'm ready.
Thank you. You may begin.
The rising cost of living is real, and it is hitting working families the hardest.
It's okay, thank you. Pause the time.
Oh, okay.
If you guys want, you can feel free to take it out of the stand and get it closer to you.
I do not feel free. I do not. Okay, thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The rising cost of living is real, and it is hitting the working family the hardest. We have people doing everything right, working every day, but they're making just a little over lunch money. Because of that, excuse me. Let me start with this. We have people doing everything, working right every day, but they're just making a little over lunch money. My approach is to get state and federal funding to bring more resources into Orange, partnering with local and regional organizations to expand support to our residents, create solutions for working families who fall outside of the assistance programs, making sure residents actually know what resources are available to them. And I say this because some of these programs are afforded, but you cannot make a certain amount of money. We have people that are working really, really hard that only make $2 over lunch money, and they cannot get any services. And that goes for seniors who they need probably repairs on their homes. We have families that are working 2 jobs, and can't get no break. They can't even get Medicaid. They can't even get certain assistance. I think bringing resources outside back into Orange and understanding what it is that we can have, understanding the programs that's already affordable, and also grants that could be afforded to the Orange, to New York, to Orange residents, At the same time, we continue to push for property tax release for long-term residents, tenant protections. I was speaking with a resident who was being forced out of her apartment, not because she didn't pay the rent, but because she paid her rent late. And they were compounding her late fees. And from the late fees, they were trying to get her out of her apartment. This was a senior. So we gotta bring some type of reinforcement to landlords in Orange.
They doing it to us now.
Yes. Bottom line, if you are working, you should not be struggling like this. I will fight to make sure support reaches the people and we will not be overlooked. My proposal is another thing. We should have a lottery. There should be a lottery for the developers that come into the town. It should be a lottery and it should be afforded to the residents that are here. And with that lottery, it should go to the abatement. If you get 30-year abatement, there should be 30 years of a resident being able to stay in those apartments for affordable rent. That's it.
Good job, Lynn.
Okay, Antoinette, you may begin.
Okay, so this is a very big problem to me, and here's why. State aid and budget fairness. Orange does receive state aid, including $8.47 million in state aid, without offsetting appropriations in 2025. That does not mean residents are overprotected or the city is insulated from tax pressure. In fact, the city still relies heavily on local tax levy to balance its budget, which suggests real change is not too much aid. But how expensive it is to run a city and how much falls on local taxpayers. So the taxpayers are still having that burden. Making sure, this is what I propose, making sure that new development benefits current residents. New development should come with clear community benefits.
Yes.
I would advocate for projects that include affordable housing, protect against displacement, and invest in infrastructure like parking, schools, and public services so growth doesn't overwhelm existing neighborhoods. Yeah. Keeping residents informed on tax dollars and decision transparency is essential. I would support regular public updates, easy to understand budget breakdowns, and open communication through town halls, social media, and community meetings so residents always know where their money is going and how decisions are made. Improving city services and fair enforcement. I would work to make sure city services are more responsive and consistent, whether it's sanitation, road maintenance, and public safety. At the same time, rules like parking and property maintenance should enforce fairly and evenly across neighborhoods with clear communication so residents understand its expectations. Investing in youth and the future of the city. We cannot overlook our young people, and I would advocate for development of local trade schools to create real career pathways and keep talent within our city. In addition, we need to invest in infrastructure and recreational spaces that cater to the youth. Safe, engaging spaces where they can spend time, build community, and push competitive procurement and tighter contact oversight.
Thank you. Thank you. For number 3, the order will go as follows. We'll start off with Antoinette, James will go second, and Lynn will go third. Number 3, another key issue brought up by many residents is its transparency and communication, particularly regarding how the city brings in and spends financial resources. How would you keep residents informed and up to date about how tax dollars are being spent in our city and how decisions are being made with regards to new developments and the tax abatements they are offered? Antoinette, when you're ready to begin, you may start. Just give us a thumbs up. Antoinette,
Yes.
ready to begin?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Like I echoed earlier, government and transparency should go along with city residents, which begins by having a clear dialogue. If you're not letting the city residents know how you're spending the money, then that is a problem. It's clear sight that you're hiding something. So I would say that the government needs to have regular meetings with its residents and to let them know how much money they have in the budget and how much they move to do what and not have to they spend it. When you spend the money and then you're asking the residents for permission, that is just nonsense. Because you already spent it, what are you asking? So you need to have a transparent government, and we should have an oversight over the budget, someone who is, has nothing to do with whether the council or the administration, someone who is just not, how would you say, just, unbiased person that is oversighting how much money is being brought in and how much money is spent, whether it's a pilot program, whether it's a grant. You just need someone to watch over the budget and how much is being spent and how much is being moved around. Because sometimes money is moved around and you ask the question, then where did that money go? It didn't disappear in clear sight. You need to know where the money is going. So that's one thing that I will work very hard on and finding out where monies are being going and where monies are being spent. We need to know that. In the city of Orange, there's too many times where money is going places and no one is asking the hard question. The council needs to ask the hard question. Where's the money? Where is the money? We need to know where's the money and where is it being spent on, or was that necessary for you to spend that money?
Thank you.
Okay.
James, do you need me to repeat the question?
All right. I will fight for transparency so the residents can clearly see how decisions are made and how tax dollars are spent. And I'll always protect your voice because the public participation is not a nuisance but a foundation of good government. My approach is simple. Listen to residents, analyze the problem, design real solutions, and deliver results. You'll see this in my transparent leadership style as chair of the zoning board. I was elected by my peers 2 years ago to be chair of the Orange Zoning Board of Adjustment, and I focused on opening up the process instead of closing the ranks. I introduced digital presentations, consistent visuals, and clear public records. I took 20 years of data about what was happening on the zoning board, what are the cases, how they were decided, and put them onto a data-driven reporting website so the residents can clearly see what's actually happening. We do some things right here, but we don't build trust when you can't find any of the information. This is not a hard thing to do. I taught myself how to do data analytics because I understood the power of it for myself, for the work that I do in New York City as a builder, and also what we can do in this town. The way that our budget is produced, it leaves you mystified. Even for people who do this for a living, you look at the 30s plus cheap website or PDF, and it doesn't make any sense. We live in the future. This is 2026. We can do this better. We need to expand public access so the decision making is information based, so that we're making decisions with that information, but you can also come to your own conclusions by having clear and consistent visuals for that information. We can use this dashboard in every single meeting. If you ever log into a zoning board meeting, you'll see that we're not just talking heads on a screen, but I have a visual for everything that's happening, and we try to educate the public as to what the process is, and then they can go check on it on their own. Now, has the city published my website? No. I published it myself. It's at jameswardcorners.com. It's also posted on 7oaksociety.com, where you can see the zoning board OZB reporting. We're going to use this to improve visibility in our development, and we can have informed residents so they can make better decisions. That's what it's all about. I've led this way on the zoning board, and I'll lead this way as our South Board council person, so we can make our city better for everybody in the city.
Thank you.
Much easier to pass that way.
Okay, thanks.
You may begin.
So I want to echo what my peers up here are saying. Transparency builds trust. When people know where their money is, that's when they start to trust what's going on in the city. Residents deserve to know where their money is going and where it's being and why it's being prioritized, especially when it comes to our community. My approach: review the budget line by line, not just at a high level. Ask the hard questions. Where is our money going? How is it being funded? And break down in plain language to the residents so that we can understand it. Provide regular updates to the residents so that they will not be left in the dark. I also want to say that I support participatory budgeting so that the residents have the direct voice on how the funds should be spent. The bottom line: when you understand where your money is going, then we can understand and hold leadership accountable. I also believe that tax abatements should be capped at a certain year, and after a certain year, we can reevaluate these abatements, but I think we should do something from 8 to 10 years. We shouldn't be giving anyone 30 years abatements. So,
You would some more.
I just thought I'd punctuate.
Good job, good job.
Okay, so thank you. For the fourth question, the order this time, we'll start with you, Lynn.
okay.
Then we'll go to Antoinette, then lastly will be James. The fourth question is, what is your plan to improve city services ranging from parking and property maintenance, enforcement to youth services, and recreational programming?
This is easy.
Good question.
You don't even need no paper for this. It's easy.
We're starting with Lynn. Yeah, we're starting with Lynn. Then Antoinette, and then James. You ready?
Okay.
All right, you can begin.
I want to start with, improving services and fair enforcement. We don't always need new laws. We need to enforce the ones that's already here. Residents are frustrated because the issues is not a lack of rules. They're frustrated because of the issues and not a lack of rules. It is consistent and unclear enforcement. Just yesterday, I was speaking with a resident on Park Avenue, and both sides of the streets were being ticketed. Yet there were no clear signs telling people where to park and showing a breakdown of how we can apply these rules. So, if there are two sides of these streets being ticketed, that means one side is unlawfully being ticketed.
Yes.
There is no clear signs to tell the residents where they are, and I don't know if that's by design, but I know it needs to be addressed. We do not have to reinvent the wheel. My focus is to focus on consistent enforcement in existing laws, making sure rules are clearly communicated before enforcement begins, ensuring signatures and guidance are in place for residents to understand expectations, hold departments accountable for fair and uniform enforcement, Shifting the fairness to fairness and clarity, shifting the focus to clearness and clarity, and not just, shifting the focus to fairness and clarity and not just issuing tickets. The bottom line is, the rules are already here. My focus is to make sure that we enforce them clearly, fairly, and consistently for everyone. For our youth, we have all of this development happening in our city. We could have 10 times over asked these developers to provide us with a youth center. We could have had it so many times. This money is coming in and out of our town, and we do not have a youth center. It is, at this point, I know we have a program, 6 to 9, but at this point, we need a building. We need a building that needs to house our children, that they know where to go at. We need enriching programs coming into our city. We need to build our city into, because our children is our future. And it's important that we do that. We need programs that need to stay consistent, like dance, culture. We need to build our babies up.
30 seconds.
Thank you, okay. So, in closing, we have a lot we need to do. We have enforcements that we can enforce. We can put them on the books. We need to inform our residents, and we need to equip them with the information so that they know how to get the results that they need in our city.
You ready, Antoinette?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so with the parking issue, I could attest to that especially on Central Avenue, Central and Center, that's a county road. So the issue that's going on there is very unclear, and the people that live, especially at 210 Central Avenue, they don't know if they should park there or not, but when they do park there, they're getting tickets from OPD, but then OPD is saying that it's a county road. So whenever it snows or anything like that, they're getting, oh, you have to move because this is a county road. If it's a county road, why is OPD issuing them a ticket? So it's kind of confusing. So what they need to do is really work that out, because if it's a county road, why is local police department issuing them a ticket? So sometimes at night they have nowhere to park, because damn if they do, damn if they don't, because, you know, it's a county road, but they're getting tickets by the local authorities. So they need to design something to say, okay, this is a county road, so the county is responsible for them being there. Are they gonna say, okay, the local PD is gonna be responsible for them being there? Or say on my block, you're on this side of the street at a certain time, so somebody comes up, put a ticket on your car, and then they leave, and before you turn around, there's another person comes up and gives another ticket on a car that already has a ticket. So did you not see the first ticket in the first place? When you're issuing the ticket, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So we gotta make things make sense in this town. And the broken meters, that's a loss of revenue as well. So they need to fix those meters so we can bring some revenue back into the city instead of doing the other silly stuff. When it comes to investing in our youth, they, like I said, Lynn echoed, we have to ask them to give a space back to the youth. There was one developer, I remember, came to the council meeting, and he wanted to buy Orange Memorial Hospital, but he wanted to give the bottom space back to the school district. They turned him down. That was ridiculous, and that didn't make no sense. But we need to find developers that want to advocate to give or something back to our youths that makes sense. You know, they should give something back. You want to come to our city? Yes. What are you giving us back for our residents and for our youth? You have to give something back. You want to set up shop? Give us something. Don't just come here and ask for abatements and all these things. Give us something back. Okay, it's not a free-for-all. Give us something back.
Yes, ma'am.
Make us happy. Give us something back.
Thank you. Before James has a chance to answer, I just want to remind us of our commitment to the candidates. Let's just remain respectful, allow them an opportunity to answer the questions, and I promise we will get to a Q&A at the end when it is appropriate. Thank you so much.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I can.
Of course, I got you. What is your plan to improve city services ranging from parking and property maintenance enforcement to youth services and recreational programming?
So that is a very multifaceted question. I have 3 young children, ages 4, 7, and 9, and I have absolutely nothing for them to do in the summer.
Yeah.
One summer, we sent our children to a program in Montclair Summer Fun is what it's called. And that program was put on by teachers in Montclair Public School, inside of Montclair Public Schools, but it's open as a private program. This is something we can learn from. It was horrible for us to take our kids all the way to Montclair and get on a train in Montclair and that whole thing. The children enjoyed it, but we were very happy to have them back at Orange Public Schools come the fall. This is something we can do to give our children something to do during the summer, but also provide another means of making money for the town because they had to lease the space, and a means for our educators to do something within the city. Oftentimes, we get to the end of the school year and either we're making up a snow day or something else, and most of the teachers actually call out the last 2 weeks of school because they've got another gig to fill in those 3 months that they're off. Let that gig be here. We can learn from things that are happening across Essex County. But beyond that, there's a bigger issue. We talk about cost and affordability and making systems that work. The reason why New Jersey is unaffordable is because we have all these small towns with all their own police, fire, and schools. This is not normal. I was born in Dallas, Texas. I grew up in South Florida. Before moving here, I lived in Washington, D.C. and in New York City. This is the only state that I know of in this great United States that has all these little towns that don't feed into the county system. This is the third rail of, talking about politics in New Jersey, but we've had governors, we've had senators, we've had state politicians that have been talking about this for years, and they've put together frameworks for doing so. We could be learning from our adjacent neighbors, but we could also be partnering with them in ways that are building these connections so that we too can be like Soma, okay? Soma, they did that because they're analogous neighborhoods that are right next to each other, and then they're like, let's just merge our police and fire together. Let's do public safety. That's going to share services, it's going to reduce overhead costs. And they're like, let's merge our school system, because we're already here together. But if we did this across Essex County, everywhere from Millburn to Newark would be extremely affordable overnight.
Exactly.
This is what we need to do.
Tom.
Thank you. All right, so the order for question 5, just checking in, we're doing okay? Everyone good? All right, perfect. We're gonna first go with James, then we're gonna go to Lynn, and then we're gonna go to Antoinette. Question 5. You are all challenging long-standing incumbents. You might find yourself on the city council without a majority in support of your agenda. How do you keep your campaign commitments if you do not have support from your fellow council members? And again, from that order, we're gonna go James, Lynn, and then we're gonna go to Antoinette.
So we all know that good ideas rise to the top. Okay? Good ideas do rise to the top. And when you have a plan for how to implement something, it's very hard to say no. This is what I do for a living. I'm an architect. I work in construction management. I've worked on over $10 billion of construction in New York City. I've stood at the top of all the tallest buildings in Manhattan. And I brought that expertise to our city. This is what people do who have a life of commerce that want to have a public life and bring it back to our city. I've shown this through working with our existing council people to get 2 pieces of legislation passed in the last 4 years. As you all may know, I did run 4 years ago for the same seat. I lost it by 60 votes, and I decided to keep my commitments to my community in doing two things. One, there was an incident that I don't have enough time for here today to talk about, but we reduced the driving schools that operate in the South Ward and beyond in the entire city. I wrote that legislation. I worked with the council people to get it passed. They thanked me by saying that I couldn't share my screen on city council meetings anymore. It was a video, this whole thing. The second one was after becoming a Haywood Avenue school parent, I saw the chaos that happens at school drop-off. Absolute chaos. I drew a plan, I presented that plan to school board, I presented that plan to city council, and I presented that plan to our police. And we worked together to implement it. We got ordinance passed so that throughout our city, we now have at least a system that's supposed to work and enforced properly so that we don't have a throwaway headache in the morning. This is how I lead, and this is how I get things done. You have to have a plan. You have to write the legislation. I wrote that legislation pre-ChatGPT, mind you. Because this is how you enact change. We've had a council person in the South Ward for 12 years who's not enacted a single piece of substantive legislation, but I even worked with her to allow her to write her name on my 2 pieces of legislation because it needed to be done for the people of the city of Orange.
There you go.
That's how I work. This is how politics happens. We don't always get along, but we're neighbors. We're improving this city. It doesn't have to be north, south, east, and west. This is Orange. We're 2.2 square miles. There's no need for us to fight over the nonsense about my school is newer and your road is getting paved. It's insanity. We need to work together, get things done. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm going to push our agenda forward.
All right.
Lynn.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm a project manager, and 80% of my work is communication. I work with people with cross-functional duties. I work from vendors up and down from leadership to janitors. I understand what it is to respect people, and like my colleague said, we may not get along, but I'm here for the people. I'm here to represent the people, and I'm here to work with the council body to make sure that we can move results and get solutions. A large part of working with different people is asking the right questions and getting to the root of the issues for real solutions to move forward. I will be focusing on listening, understanding, and making sure that the people I represent are fully heard. My approach is to work with my council colleagues to build consensus. I will focus on solutions, not politics, listening carefully and representing the residents accurately and following through to make sure that our ideas turn into action. I know how to work with people, I know how to communicate clearly, and I know how to move my ideas forward. This is not about me. To be elected, the people are sending me into that seat to get information and to bring information back and to work with the council and so that we can move Orange forward. Thank you.
So to kind of tap into what both my counterparts said, a few years ago, we had the safe route to school at Park Avenue, and it came up through the NJDOT where we would have the children ride their bikes to school, and that is how we got the sidewalk paved from Park Avenue down to Day Street, down the other way. So I was in charge of putting the whole thing together and ride. You know, each child, we would put on the vest and we would ride, the children would ride their bikes home, and so we have different task managers. And I had to work with people with different, oh, I don't want to work with this one, but it wasn't about that. It was about getting the children to school and also, creating healthy habit by riding their bikes instead of jumping on the bus. It was very successful, and the NJDOT did give the city a check to pave those roads. And yes, other people might take credit for it, but that was not the point. The point was, the whole thing was achieved. It was achieved, the goal was achieved, that we got the children to, want to ride their bikes to school, and they were safe getting to and fro. So my vote being I might just be one vote on the council, but it's just one vote. But I'm committed to working with the other council members, building coalitions around issues, not personalities, because I don't do personalities. That means working with my fellow council members, the mayor's office, county partners, state legislators, and community stakeholders on shared priorities and affordability, infrastructures, and public safety to make Marshall support and come prepared, stay consistent, and keep the focus on outcome residents can feel. I am a practical person. I'm backed by data-driven and public pressure. That is what I want to see happen on our council members.
I agree. Okay, come on.
Okay, so finally to close, Orange is a city with many different cultures and as a result, many different cuisines. So what is your favorite local restaurant? This time, we're going to start with you, Antoinette, then we're going to go to James, and lastly, we're going to end with Lynn. So when you're ready.
Okay, I'm not going to be biased here. So, in Orange, we do have a lot of restaurants, including my family's restaurant. Shout out to Sunsplash Restaurants. Shout out to Casaubon's, but I do love Mama Lola's. I do love Mama Lola's. I love the chicken, it's really good. So I'm going to say, my family, they're going to get me, but yes, I do love Mama Lola's. So that's my favorite restaurant. It has like different flavors and, the chicken is done well, just the way I like it. So I love all the restaurants in Orange because they offer a different variety. But if my go-to restaurants would be Mama Lola's.
Thank you. Next is James. Let me begin.
So, my wife and I moved here right before the pandemic, November of 2018. We've hit the ground running. We moved here with one child, I'm pregnant with another, and now we've got three. My life has been extraordinarily busy. But if any of you know me, you know that my wife was born and raised in Jamaica and Miami. My household is a Jamaican household. We cook food in the house. And if we don't eat in the house, it's normally other Jamaican food from the neighborhood. We frequent neighborhoods that surround us, located in the South Ward. I go to a number of places that are not in Orange, but when I do shop somewhere in Orange, I'm going to get Golden Crust right here on Main Street. I was actually just here this morning. There are a variety of pizza restaurants that we might order out to. Probably going to have to get something from Master Pizza tonight. My wife is actually still at work right now, which is why she's not here now. I lead a really busy life. And that doesn't necessarily afford me the time to enjoy the things that are in our city. And I will definitely commit to doing some more. I wrote down Sunsplash. But then there's also always Sandwiches Unlimited. Every time we've hosted an event, if you've ever been to National Night Out in Seven Oaks, we've always had it hosted with Sandwiches Unlimited.
Yes,
Not with it, but we buy it. And then in addition to that, we've got all the Italian restaurants in the valley.
No, yeah.
My favorite of which is Libretti's.
Oh, okay.
Just was there.
Favorite, we actually hosted the Orange Board of Adjustments holiday meeting there at Libretti's. So yes, that is my answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I put that sounds flashing. Oh my God, there is a multi part of restaurants that I love. We have a Peruvian restaurant that we go to. I don't remember the name, but they got my money. Champions on the corner, which I frequent. Golden Crust. And I just wanted one story. Last year, the HUUB was hosting some of the restaurants that was in town, and I had never been to this restaurant, and I think it was Sarah's. And so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go support them or whatever. And I said, I'm gonna go, went there, and Doug and I was there, and I ordered some food. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back out. I tasted that food, I sat in my car and ate everything. I was like, oh, I'll just take a bite, if not, I'll just take it in the house. I finished that whole thing in the car. So I've been back there, so kudos to Sarah's. But I just want to say, the food also represents the people that are in our town, that represents each ward that lives in our town. And I wish to get it to a point, because right now I believe that the dollar circulates in Orange once. Not even once. So we need to support our local restaurants, make sure that we're supporting them and going there, sitting down and eating, and making sure that we keep the dollar within our town as we grow it out. Because of May 12th, we making some changes, people. He wants to rebuttal himself.
If the ladies are okay, we'll give you like 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I did forget, there was one, and I cannot remember its name, but the Italian bakery that's right up the street, they've been here for like 40 or 50 years.
Serena's.
Yes. But beyond that, what we really need to do is support our corridor in the South Ward that is Scotland Road. One of the things that I want to do is implement a business improvement district so that we can improve the street face of Scotland Road, so we can bring a diverse range of businesses in the vacant storefronts. And a business improvement district, if you're not familiar with it, is an organization that serves the businesses. They pay into it, kind of like an HOA, but all of the dues go back into those businesses, almost like a partner. It's like,
Every
you get
surrounding
a new
town has
storefront,
one.
you get a new storefront, you get a new sign, and you get a new sign, and everybody rises, and we improve the business district.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, I'm just looking to the back to my colleagues just to make sure that we have 10 minutes. Oh, we got the thumbs up. Now we're going to move into the question and answer portion from you guys. You guys can ask a question. We'll try our best to get the microphone to you. We have 10 minutes. I'm a school teacher if you can't tell. How many minutes? All right. So if you have a question, feel free to come up. You can grab the mic, and then, yeah, sure, come right on up. I knew you guys were enthusiastic.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to use my loud and proud voice. I'm a teacher as well. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Etienne, proud Haitian American and new Orange resident as of a year ago. So what specific actions do any of you or all of you plan to take to assist residents with immigration concerns so they can feel safe, supported, and informed about availability of resources with the times that we're having in our society today?
Okay, so I'm gonna jump on that.
Yes.
I'm very big on that. So, with the immigration, issues that we're having, a great number of them, there is, different, programs that are going through, Congress, Monica's, office. So if people, having some issues right now, that is, the right person to go to. And if they want my information, I can give it to, because I've been working closely with her. And I myself have come in contact with ICE, because they decided to come on our block. Where's Councilman Montague? They decided to come on our block, and I had to have some words with them and tell them that today. So, yes, I've been working closely with our office with different range of immigration issues. So if you know somebody that needs some help, please contact me.
So how are we sharing the information, particularly to those who don't speak English? As their first
well, they have different people that speak different languages in our office. So that is something, if they want the information, because I had sent out some things to different population in Orange. I left them at different stores and things like that. So if you want, I can give you the same information and you can share it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did any other candidate want to answer to that? All right. For the sake of time, I'm gonna give the candidate, I'm gonna give you guys at least a minute and 30 seconds so that more people can ask questions before we get out.
So there's been a lot of talk about sanctuary cities. Orange is not one, for whatever reason. We should be protecting our immigrant population, particularly with what we know is happening in our community. There are certain organizations that have already stepped up to fill the place, but the state of New Jersey has led pathways with different names to support those kind of activities, and we should legislate that so that we're protecting those resources. We need to also make sure that our municipality is trilingual. This is a city that's filled with people who speak English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole, and we should be putting out all of our literature as such and doing digital transcription of all of our meetings in these languages. It's just a service that you pay for, you click and it's done.
Yes.
Like I said, we got 106 million we're spending, we could do that. In addition to that, there's one more component, I forgot. Definitely. There's one more point about that, but I can't remember right now.
Thank you.
Did you want to answer the question or did you want to do next?
I just want to ask you a question, then they can come up and do next. But speaking of what you were saying is that they have non-for-profits right now and other organizations that we can bring into Orange that can directly help with the residents, also know their rights. And I wanted to add that, well, shout out to Mike and Shirley for real, making sure, so our state has stepped up. We don't have it right now in Orange. But I also want to make sure that as residents, we have a responsibility to make sure that we are taking care of our neighbors, that we look out for our neighbors. This is a scary time for them. And I wanted to also think about the legal system. We need to get some legal services to them, possibly have some type of workshops where we could bring in probably the school of, workers and any law students, whatever, to come in and help us work with the residents so that we can make sure we can bring some type of some support to our residents. Thank you.
Sit back down. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Pat Alter, and I've lived in Orange for nearly 50 years. So I can tell you what was and what isn't and hope to be. Now, my first question is, I want to put it in the same context. Your new people run for the council. You know that the council runs the city, not the mayor.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Okay, under the former hat. And I would love to see all of you who may win or will win, to make sure that the mayor does not control what happens in the city.
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The council runs the city, and you're responsible to the citizens and taxpayers of this town.
Yes, ma'am.
Number two, for the kids. My kids grew up in Orange. Unfortunately or fortunately, they didn't go to school in Orange because it's another situation there. But they had the library. They had programs for the kids on Saturdays, that the kids could go to the library, go to the Y. You know, here's a library in town.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not functional. And, yes, and the council is a part of that situation to make sure it operates. The kids in town whose parents cannot afford a computer or don't have a computer, they can go to the library. That's what the library is for, to do their research and whatever. And the program for the kids, there's nothing in this man's town for our children. And I need for this council to make sure that something goes in effect. I don't have any kids anymore, my granddaughter is school now. So the kids in town, you know, they need somewhere to go. When there's a snow day and they're home, instead of them getting in trouble on the street, there's somewhere for them to go to do something. Now, I have to remind you or tell you that the city received $1.2 or $1.3 million a couple of years ago, 8 years ago, to redo the Y. And here we are, 8 years later, nothing has been done.
It's gonna be tore down, that's what's gonna be done.
Yes, so I'm counting on council people to do their job
Yes, ma'am.
and not let the mayor run the town, and he's running into a muck.
Yeah.
And I don't care, because he knows how I feel about the situation.
Sure.
Understand?
Sure.
Number 3.
He's taking all of your questions. And number 3, these buildings that are being built, I would ask you all to make sure they're being supervised with the materials that are being built, put into these buildings. They're not adhered to the zoning board, they're not adhered to anything at all, and they ask for excuse not to do certain things. I went to a council meeting, and the council just voted yes, instead of asking why, and this is important, we cannot allow you not to do such and such a thing. So I don't go to anything anymore. Because my pressure goes up. So I go to nothing. Years ago I was at the council meeting and we did a lot of stuff, but not anymore. But I'm just asking you all, please, do your job. You're getting paid. Do your job for the citizens of Orange. Our taxpayers are paying you. So please, do your job and run the city, the council, not the mayor. I don't think it's gonna stretch that far.
Can I answer, Ms. Arthur? It's always good to see you, Ms. Arthur, and I connected with your son on just yesterday.
Yes, I know.
To answer your questions, yes, the city council is the check. We are the check, not the rubber stamp committee, and I will do my best, should I be elected, to be the check on the mayor's plans for our city. We control the budget, the power of purse is with the city council.
Yes.
Secondly, building materials and quality. So I ran for the seat 4 years ago, and I got into this whole mess about building standards versus building codes, okay? Let me be clear, I was talking about not building standards. We abide by the International Building Code, you have to. But what we need in this town to make it look a certain way is have design standards. That way we can legislate what our city's supposed to look like. So we don't get this modern building here and this, I'll use not the word I was going to use for the thing over there, but the Elks Lodge. We need to have standards. I also want to just kind of cycle back just one bit because this is really, really important. When we talk about our immigrants in the community, there's something that I recently learned about, and it has to do with these kind of free camera systems that are coming into municipalities all around us. These camera systems are supposed to be helping the police do their job by having searchable databases, But those searchable databases are public record within these private companies, and they sell that data to organizations like ICE.
Yes, exactly, yes, that's true.
Now, we don't know that this was what they were doing when they put these cameras in our cities. And what I would make sure that we're doing is not that, so that we can support the safety of our city and all of our immigrant population so that they're not harassed by ICE.
Thank you. All right, the time now is 8:24. We have time for 3 more questions, and then we're going to give the candidates the opportunity to have closing arguments. This gentleman in the back has had his hand up for some time. We just ask that you come forward because the microphone will cut off. And then we're going to go right here to the black hat. Oh, I don't want you to miss your turn. I just gave you a shout out. We're going to go to you next.
Okay, cool.
Should I get a chair? I can do it without the microphone,
Sure.
I think. Okay, so my puppy and I want to know, well, first of all, I want to commend you all for coming together as a team. This is what we need. We need like-minded people working together to conquer the nonsense.
Exactly.
And that's as polite as I can be about that. So I heard a lot of things talked about following the laws that are in place now, enforcing them. We do a terrible job of enforcing things here. The other thing that I may be misinformed about is that when new buildings are coming, that those deals are talked about behind closed doors.
Yes.
And sometimes without even the business administrator being involved. How is that possible? And I guess my question would be to all of you as a team is, how do you really combat that? How do you change the method of how that's done here in our beloved Orange and my Orangites here? We'd like to know. My orange juices. Literally, how do you combat that as a team so that we know what's really happening? And administration knows, because it's not being discussed publicly. It's all closed doors, and then you find out what's happening. And that's the council as well.
Exactly.
So I'm just curious about that. Anyone can answer, all can answer.
First, what got me off the porch and activated to run this race this year is because of exactly what he's speaking about. Living in a one-way street, there was one-family homes, they brought out a home, tore that home down and built a 126 apartment building on my block. So, and I say this, we found out on a Monday, and Thursday was the planning board meeting. It was Tim that had the presence of mind to even ask, can you please make sure that when you're building these buildings, that you do not charge your residents for parking? They did the traffic study on a Wednesday at 11 o'clock in the morning. I had no idea by the time we rallied up, this game was already out the door. We were late to the meeting. I wish that for no other resident to happen while I'm be elected. My goal is to make sure that we all get a seat at the table, and you're going to make decisions that's going to affect our daily lives. This thing sped up an opportunity, sped up a decision for me of whether I was going to stay or leave. I just knew Orange was going to be my forever home. And when they put that building up, it left my family feeling like, okay, what could we do next? And what we did was, I'm running.
Yes. There you go.
We need to give back the power to the zoning board.
Yes.
A lot of these plans are being circumvented.
Yes.
They're not coming to the zoning board, and that's how some of these buildings are even being built.
Exactly.
Yeah, besides. So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I guess my question comes down to, how does the council take back their own power?
Asking the tough questions. They gotta ask the tough questions.
And keep people accountable.
Yes.
Have you met me?
Asking the tough questions.
I've met you.
So I'll answer the first part of your question. Yes, there are backroom deals.
A lot.
Oh, no.
Now, is that the way it's supposed to be done? Maybe, I don't know. But what we can do is be more transparent about it. Even if there's a record of it in a meeting minute, nobody's reading meeting minutes. This is 2026. They need to turn that meeting minute into a podcast, okay? They need to turn that meeting minute into an Instagram story. You need to make this data accessible so that people don't feel like there are backroom deals happening under the table. If it's supposed to be that way, let's lay it out on the table.
We still have residents have a choice.
Okay, thank you.
One more thing.
We'll give you 30 more seconds. We want you to get to your closing argument so that we can get everybody out as promised.
Last weekend, I was at 749 Scout Road. There were missing standpipe hoses, there was mold on the walls, and there were light bulbs missing in the stairway. I called the code enforcement office, I called the fire department, and got that solved immediately.
Thank you.
Our city council people visit these buildings asking for people's votes, and they don't notice this, maybe because they're not architects, and they didn't see that. But I saw it immediately, and I solved the problem that I saw.
Thank you. All right, for the sake of time, I know, I'm sorry, I'll be the bad guy. For the sake of time, here's what we're gonna do. If the candidates are okay, you can grab their email addresses, and feel free to email them any questions that you have. They do not have to give you their email addresses, so if they decline, please just say thank you anyway. We want to move on to our closing arguments. We want to give each of you a minute to close out, and then we will wrap up.
Can I ask
Thank you. We just want them to get to their closing arguments.
I get it.
Thank you.
I hate to be a stickler about this, but I think that on the count of three, everybody in this room should say Yahoo to these people.
Perfect. Works for me.
1, 2, 3. Yahoo!
Alright, thank you. 1 minute. Nope, I'm sorry guys. We're gonna have to get the closing arguments. If you have any other questions, again, you can feel free to ask the candidates for their information. I'm sorry, we're gonna move on to closing arguments. Thank you for understanding. So Lynn, I believe the last Antoinette was able to answer first. We're gonna go with Lynn, you can go first with your closing argument, then we're gonna go with Antoinette, and then James, you can close us out.
My name is Lynn Ogbourne, and I am running for the North Ward City Council.
Thank God.
I am stepping forward to be your next councilwoman. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, we can pause the time and then you can pick up from there.
Okay. My name is Lynn Ogbourne, and I am running for the North Ward City Council. I'm stepping forward to be your next councilwoman because I could no longer ignore what I am hearing. Too many people feel unheard. They feel like decisions are being made around them instead of with them. And I believe they deserve better. I believe we deserve better.
30 seconds.
I'm stepping forward because I don't have all the answers. I'm stepping forward because I am willing to listen, to stand up and do the work. And most importantly, I'm stepping forward to serve the people. But I cannot do this alone. May 12th, I will be on the ballot as 1A. And with your support, I can bring leadership that truly listens, includes, and respect the people that I would deserve on the North Ward. My name is Lynn Ogbourne, 1A on the ballot, May 12th.
Thank you. One minute, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Antoinette Hall, and I'm running for councilwoman. My number is 2A, and May 12th, East Ward, New Jersey, come out and vote for change. Do not accept a no-show council person. You want to change the East Ward and the trajectory of what is going on, come out and do what you need to do. You want transparency, you want someone that shows up for you. Here is the person that will make a change for your ward.
1 minute, you may begin.
My name is James Ward. I'm running to be your next city council member in the South Ward. Our city has strong foundations and strong families, and a strong potential. But potential requires leadership willing to ask tough questions, demand accountability, and make thoughtful decisions that protect our residents. We can restore confidence in our local government and build a future that is more affordable, more transparent, and more united. A better Orange today and a stronger Orange tomorrow. I humbly ask for you to vote for me so that I can institute in the first 100 days of I would like to institute term limits on all elected officials. Move municipal elections to November to increase access. Fix parking requirements for all new developments. Restore 5-minute public comments. Stabilize taxes through smart budgeting. Establish a Scotland Road Business Improvement District. And radical transparency through public data dashboards. Orange is not broken, it's just neglected. With focused leadership and real accountability, we can move forward with our city together.
Again, thank you to our 3 lovely candidates. Thank you to the community members for coming out. The video will be shared on YouTube later this week, and we encourage you to share them with your friends. In addition, please follow at Orange HUUB